Dr. Alok, may I now request Mr. Neeraj Kumar, who is a travel specialist and which is one of the most important components of the tourism.
This one, no? No, this one. Good evening, everyone. It can be quite tricky to be one of the last speakers. It's most likely that I'm not going to speak anything which our prominent speakers have not spoken till now. I'm Neeraj Kumar, the CMO of French Touch Travel. French Touch Travel is a company which is owned and managed by French expats living in India for 10 years now. It's a part of Shanti Travel Group with offices across Asia. So, we as a travel agency look at tourists from three different prospects. One is the regular tourist who would be interested in more of sightseeing, monuments, city life, markets, etc. Then comes the pilgrims, which are explicitly religious, more related to shrines, temples, etc. They are the hardcore religious people. And then we talk about the spiritual tourists, the topic of today. There are trips taken in search of spiritual fulfillment, But, there might be a difference between the pilgrims and the spiritual tourists. We'll cover that later. Now, you can see a picture here of Buddhist monks going for a pilgrimage. Pilgrimage is basically born out of the desire and belief. The desire is for solution to problems of all kinds within the human situation. We look up to the God, we look up to the spirit above for problems which we face in day-to-day life. And that is why a lot of us tend to take the pilgrimage. The beliefs, motives, and forms of pilgrimage differ from culture to culture, obviously. Now, what is a spiritual tourist? The spiritual tourist is somebody who seeks out religious or spiritual settings for the purpose of fulfilling their desire to travel. Their first objective is not the pilgrim, but the travel, either in whole or in part, and to have some form of spiritual or religious experience. Spiritual tourists sit somewhere between the pilgrim and the regular tourists. So I will take you back to the last picture, the pilgrimage one, and this picture. You can see that this is a normal tourist who wants to go out and see the spiritual side of the place that has to offer. Now, Swamiji mentioned that India is the spiritual capital of the world, which is very, very apt. For over 4,000 years now, India has been one of the most spiritually enriched places on earth. All the major religions, Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, and Sikhism were conceived in India. Apart from religions, numerous sages, philosophers, and founders of religions also sought and received sanctuary and enlightenment in India's soil and spirit. Gautam Buddha is one of the perfect example. And the trend continues even today. For example, we just heard the PM Modi in the town hall with the Facebook CEO, Mark Zuckerberg. So Mark Zuckerberg actually said that he came to India to seek spiritual enhancement before actually forming Facebook. So this is something very, very apt again. Now, when we talk about spiritual India, what are the things that automatically strike? First is the ashrams, the gurus, and the yogas. Ashram is a place of religious hermitage, inhabitants involved in yoga, music, or meditation. Gurus show the light or enlightened role varies with different religious practices, but uniformly respected and revered. And yoga is not just physical being, but also, it's not just the asanas, but also the whole aspect of gaining spiritual attainment. So that is what yoga is all about. By the way, there is a picture of one of the yogas, one of the gurus. Can anybody tell me who the guy is? He's a very famous Hollywood actor, by the way. Mr. Ben Kingsley. Yeah. The spiritual air in the country humbly carries the fragrance of karma, dharma, and most importantly, forgiveness. We are a tolerant society and we have been for ages. Trust through the mighty mountains, and you shall experience the divine presence or traverse through the meandering alleys, where spiritually combined with history waits to greet your spirituality thirsty souls. The existence of a large number of temples, mosques, churches, gurdwaras, and monasteries in India beckons the traveler to visit a country that is tolerant, as I said, is spiritual and very, very diverse. I would like to take this diverse thing in my future slides. Now, what are the spiritual destinations in India? I would like to focus on that. India is dotted with several spiritual destinations. To start with, Vaishno Devi Temple in Jammu and Kashmir, which is one of the most famous spiritual destinations of India. Then, of course, the Golden Temple, which is one of the most sought-after religious places. The Sen Temple is a masterpiece of Indian architecture, as we all know. Then we have the Jagannath Temple, the Somnath Jyotirling in Gujarat, Hemkund Sahib and Amarnath Cave. The reason I'm trying to tell you about all these places is that we are geographically so wide, and everywhere you have something or the other, be it North India, South India, West or East. So, there is so much to offer. India as a country has so much spiritualism to offer. Now, again, Ajmer Sharif in Ajmer, Varanasi. Now, Ajmer Sharif in Ajmer is a Muslim thing. I mean, Muslims want to go there for their spiritual attainment. Likewise, in Varanasi is a center for faith for Hindus. Then we have Bodhya, which is for Buddhists. So, even from religious point of view, we have places which are inclined to Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists, etc. So, religiously, we are very, very strong again when we talk about the now these are the things that we have discussed. What can be the measures to make India a hub of spiritual tourism? The most important thing is the connectivity of the spiritual places. So we make to ensure that there are better transport facilities in terms of airports, better roads, etc. We can also come out with spiritual healing centers near the pilgrimage or the spiritual site of visit, where somebody can actually go and practice yoga and meditation, and at the same time attain the spiritual objectives that they are here for. Focus attention on managing the pilgrims, different queue for women and children, which is again very, very important. We have seen what happened in Amarnath Yatra, so it's important that we make sure of that. Now, digital communication is something that has come of age. Our Prime Minister has actually propagated Make in India digital campaign. So we should take advantage of that and try propagate India as a spiritual destination. Cleanliness, of course, is very important to make sure that the foreign tourists visit our spiritual places. To conclude, I will say India is the land of Vedas and temples and can be the automatic choice for becoming the world leader in spiritual tourism. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Srivastava is the former member of North Eastern Council and former Secretary Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, and a very wonderful speech, sir, you have given. A big round of applause. To His Excellency Mr. George Cardens Robles, Ambassador, Embassy of Bolivia. Sir, if my pronunciation is bad, I'm extremely sorry for that. Yeah. Yeah. Also to His Excellency Mr. Pitko Dokyov, Ambassador, Embassy of the Republic of Bulgaria. A big round of applause. Also to His Excellency Mr. Radu Octav Dobrin, Charge d'Affaires, Embassy of Romania. A big round of applause too. To Mr. Neeraj Kumar, Chief Marketing Officer, French Touch Travel. A wonderful presentation, Mr. Neeraj, you have given. A big round of applause. To Dr. Arvind Alok, Chairman, Buddhist Monuments Development Council. Fantastic presentation, Dr. Alok, you have extended. Last but not the least, Dr. Gigi Saxena, former Managing Director, Delhi Tourism and Transport Development Corporation Limited, and a member also of the Tourism Committee of PHDCCI. Yeah. Now may I request our Secretary General, Mr. Saurav Sanyal, to give the formal vote of thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my bad luck that I could not attend this session at all. We were stuck up in another conference which is going on at the national level, the India-Africa Forum Summit 3. So the Honorable Prime Minister was there, so I could not come here. Though my Senior Vice President, he rushed because he was to be present here, and he rushed out of the conference and came here. It is indeed my pleasure and honor to welcome all of you once again. And as Mr. Srivastava brought out, that I am sure that the land of gods that India is, the spiritual tourism program has gone a big hit. I can make it out, as he brought out very widely, that you were all patient speakers and patient participants, and it was really a wonderful thing. I could hear few speakers, and I'm really honored that they spoke so well and they gave such a beautiful insight into the subject that the PhD is now going to, take this forward. The team under Mr. Yogesh Srivastav, Bhavna Singh, Mr. Jhakar, who's also a kickboxer, will now turn spiritually and, excel in his sport. So, of course, whatever was told by Mr. Srivastav, I'm sure it is actually a mindset, and it is actually the attitude which matters everywhere. We are here to help you. We are here to guide you. If any kind of assistance or anything that is required, PhD chamber is always stepping his best foot forward to take care of your interests. We are really grateful that you've all come in strength and you have given your patient hearing to the audience here. I must acknowledge that all our speakers are learned speakers in the morning session, in the afternoon session, and in the last session have really spoken well. Really thankful to the excellencies who have spared their valuable time and come here. We wish you all the best. And of course, last but not the least are the sponsors who have contributed immensely. Without them, we could not have, held this successful event in the manner that it was conducted today. Thank you so much. I now invite you